Hey guys, this is Jose from the Council of Fiends, back at it again with another video. We are with my other teammate. What's your name?
William Garcia.
And what did you play, sir?
I played Pure Spright.
Okay, sir. Spright gang, how it goes?
Start us off, we're just going to go into the standard Spright package. Play 3 copies of blue. What is there to say? It's Stratos for the deck. It does the whole work. There's a reason the card's $100. Next up, 3 copies of Jet, the second best card in the deck. Either of these two plus any level 2 normal summon, even if it's another copy of themselves or a Spright, it's full combo. This has been raining Terran to OCG for I don't know how fucking long. It's pretty self-explanatory. We have the 2 copies of red. I just want to open it, guarantee that I have a means of negating or playing through hand traps. My biggest enemy this entire event has been Ogre. The worst I've had to deal with is some combination of Ogre Veiler, Ogre Imperm, and this has helped play through that. Next up is the 1 copy of Spright Carrot, different from my teammates' lists. My buddy Kevin, he also played 1 copy of Pixies. I decided to just cut it to the Carrot and hold it just 9 Sprites. My big reasoning for this is I don't personally feel that Honest was going to be very useful for me in the event. Lo and behold, there's very few situations where it even would have been relevant. Most of those times where it would have been vaguely relevant, I would just go into something, for example, like a gigantic Spright with a Link 2 under it and just run over whatever the fuck is in the way.
Alright.
Going on for the Spright spells, it's just triple starter, 1 smashers. I feel it's important to mainboard the smashers. The people that sideboard it, you confuse me. This card is so vital to outing a lot of stuff game 1 that you shouldn't be able to out, especially when they allow you to resolve searches without knowing that you have this card in hand, or thinking that you're like most average players that either sideboard this or don't think it's important to search and they just automatic combo blue into Jet into starter into part 3. Like, a lot of people just autopilot the deck. I feel like this is really important. Jose can attest for you. He helped me piece together some lines that I didn't see, some lines I did see. He reaffirmed me on some decisions, and a lot of the times when it landed on smashers to resolve a board state that would otherwise be detrimental, it came up a lot that this was the most helpful card of the Spright cards.
Yeah, like starter is a really good card right now, but most of the time when you have certain board states, when they Dark Ruler your board, you have to go for the smashers.
Exactly. Especially if you go into, I didn't actually see many tier limit. I actually didn't play against any tier limit. My weirdest matchups were Flunder, Despia, and Striker. And in all 3, the smashers did a lot of work.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't have to go against Window Turn 0.
Yeah, Jose did not have the same lucky fate that I did. Next up, we have the standard Frog package. Triple and 1 Ronin. I decided to not play the dupe. In the case of the tier element matchup or the Despia matchup, there's a lot of players that are mainboarding Super Poly in those instances because Garura is such a fucking strong card. It's a level 6, it floats into just a +1, like, not +1, sorry, even 0, it just gets you a free card draw. Feels bad when you go standby, summon dupe, you think you have a solid unbreakable board, and then they just go, alright, Super Poly, pitch Despia and Tragedy, and you cry yourself to sleep.
Yep.
It just feels so bad. I had to run into that a lot in testing online, testing at locals. It just did not feel good. Next up, the other normal summon engine. I was egged into this by Villa and by Jose, mainly Villa. He kept singing its praises. I personally preferred the Diva package, and there's some leftover remnants in my list that I should have probably changed considering I switched to this last moment, but I feel like this did help me the one time I saw it. In all 6 rounds of today's event, in the almost, 13 to 15 games I played, I only saw this entire setup, any of the cards, twice throughout the whole day. Once was a Beast, which was normal summon Search Gates, add Beast, the guy scooped. Just straight up scooped. And then the other one was I opened the continuous spell, Search Beast, normal summon, go into combo, and the guy just couldn't play through it. So that's it for the generic packages. Generic spells and traps, we always have the 1 god card called by. Ban it or put it to 3, Konami, don't be pussies, come on now. Straight up, this is just an insane card. That they still allow it at 1 makes it feel so much worse when you draw it against somebody from their perspective, because it's like, well, if he has it, and he has it, time to scoop. It's just such a disgusting card. To equate it to a lot of things in Magic, which I'm a former semi-pro at Magic, nothing important, I suck. This was the equivalent to like a Force of Will. This just says no for free. This just tells them they can't play the game at that point.
And even the following turn too.
Exactly. We have 3 Potus Prosperities. Potus Prosperity is really self-explanatory. I need to see my cards to play the game. There were a lot of hands that were completely unplayable that I would go Prosperity. Mainly like my buddy Villa, I just went into Prosperity for 3. A lot of the times people would let that resolve thinking, oh, he's digging for another extender. Why would I waste the ash on this? When in reality, I was actually looking for a starter for a play, whether it be a normal summon, a blue, or etc. And they would just let me go, and it just happened.
And then you ended up comboing through it.
I ended up comboing through it, and it was pretty free.
Just a high density of starters.
Next, we have all of the going second / interruption cards. Have the 1 of Valor, 3 copies of DD Crow, probably the most versatile, most useful hand trap right now in the format. Which is weird to say, considering he came out like what, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there. It's one of the oldest hand traps in the game. We have 2 copies of Ogre, very much for the same reasons as my teammate Kevin. It's useful against the mirror match. It's useful against certain matchups like technicalities and Flunder. There's a couple of weird like punk matchup. You activate field spell, you crack the field spell. Didn't see a single plunge. Even against tiers, yeah, Perlorino effect to go, like, pop a card. It's like, okay, in response, chain, crack.
Oh, yeah, even Draco Sapella, yeah.
Just crack the Draco Sapella, freely remove the monster. It's pretty good. Ash Blossom is Ash Blossom. Everybody knows it. Something feet. For that's the monster hand traps. Then we have the 2 copies of Imperm. And you may be wondering why I have such an eclectic, weird hand trap lineup. Very obviously, I'm telegraphing the Crossout Designator. Crossout actually came up a lot for me today, a lot more than my teammates would thought. I still stand by this card, even though I've been told it was bad. Most of the times that I used it, it came out being the most successful like hands I had in the whole day.
How many times did you use it in the mirror match?
In the mirror match, considering I played 5 mirror matches today, I think it was. So I played the most mirror matches out of any of us, straight up. Every single time I resolved Crossout, whether it was on a Spright engine piece or just a hand trap, a lot of people immediately lost the poker face and were just like, fuck. They just couldn't deal. And finally, the last 3 cards to round out the list, I'm playing 42, mainboarding triple copies of Dark Ruler, the best going second card in the game. This is also, coincidentally, for the Crossout Designator, because I can just hold the Designator, even if it's just Spright Toad set to pass. This ripping the Dark Ruler just made a lot of hands way more playable than they should have been. There was several occasions where I've had to cross out Dark Ruler and they just scoop go game 3 or game 2, and it was ridiculous. The few times I opened Dark Ruler against the mirror match, it helped a lot. When it comes to the mirrors I played against today, the majority of them were easily played through, especially with the help of my teammates. But the biggest issue I had was in finals and top cut. This man was on some weird stuff. Shout out to Danny Nguyen with his crackhead OCG style Nemesis flag into a Shadows madness that I was not expecting. Going into the extra, it's also starts off pretty standard, just double elf, double gigantic, best cards in the deck that don't even have to go on the main board, they're just there for free. Much like my teammate, I went with Underworld IP. I also added a unicorn into the mix because this helps you play with so many lines that you would not normally be able to, especially since you have the Dark Beckoning Beast package. You have the extra extension that you can go Masquerena, sit on it, and just, depending on what the situation calls for, you just go, like for example, you have a set starter, you can go starter, or IP chain starter, go search off of a blue, or grab a jet to search a smashers for the next turn. Depending on the situation, you just go rip, or you just go straight into, hi, Mathematics Cyber's player, die.
Yeah.
Which sadly didn't come up today, but came up yesterday at Locals, which is funny as hell. The guy did not have a good time. For the last link, it was left over from the Diva package. I probably should have omitted this from the list. Was the Crystron Hakafibrex. I never made this once. This was really a bad idea to leave in the list. I probably should have gone into Virus Code or Charmer. Realistically, Charmer. Also, I cut the Almirage. You may think I'm crazy. I did have to cut the Almirage. It was a weird choice. I kind of regret it because there's at least 2 situations where it would have been a lot easier to play with an Almirage. It's my own mistake. Deck building mistakes are deck building mistakes. I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh player, damn it. I've only been playing this for like a month in this format. From previous to now. We have the 1 of Zeus, Downard, and Centaur, whatever line.
So how many times did Zeus come up to for you today?
Literally every round. I am not joking. He's laughing for a reason. Literally every round, there was an avenue in which making Zeus was the optimal line, and it led to a either 4 material or just double material rip Zeus that just stopped my opponent from being able to.
And then you just have the Spright starter just to
and sitting on any starter, any combo starter in hand. Hell, there was one of the times I saw Beckoning Beast was after I went Zeus. We're both sitting on a simplified game state. He had a 1-card set, 0 in hand. I had Zeus. I went Dark Beckoning Beast. He scooped. Straight up, that's what it led me to. The last of the XCs are the obvious, just Toad, Shark for OTK, Gin Buster, same reasons as my teammate, and Oyama Baru, same reasons. This just says Winda go burr, no. And this says Hand Trap go burr, no. Just general protection. Very, very vanilla, honestly. There was a couple of things I could have changed. There was a couple of spicier cards I wanted to play that I was advised against, and for very obvious reasons that I'm very glad I honestly didn't play them, because there were way more situations where this was useful and this was useful than half the stupid shit I wanted to
So
play
like what cards were you think about?
There was at one point where when I was playing the Diva package, I was going into Hulk, sitting on the Hulk with an Elf and Toad, and I would use Hulk, for example, to go into a Quick Draw Synchron Herald. And that was such an overcommitment of materials and such a niche setup.
Formula Synchron.
Sorry, Formula. Not Quick Draw. I'm doing good. Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, names. Anyway. So, Formula Synchron into Herald the Arclight, which is really great against Tier Limits. And it's an Omni Negate, yeah, but Dark Ruler's Dark Ruler, so it doesn't really matter.
True.
And it ended up bricking me a lot of the time, just wasting space in the extra. That's pretty much it for the main and extra deck. Onto the side. It's kind of simple, kind of just straightforward. Again, the advice of teammates, just Ghost Spell, Haunted Mansion, swaps in for the matchups that Ogre is completely useless or weak against. That doesn't really do much, and it's more versatile. It's also very protective. A lot of the times I would keep it in for going first against something in the mirror match, because this would stop their DD Crow, keep my Ronin alive, and I just get to make Toad for free.
Yeah.
And that actually came up at least twice today. And both times it kind of won me the game. It kind of helped me play through things I should not have been able to, but, you know, sometimes better lucky than good, right? Next we have Triple Nibiru for the non-Spright decks, non-Tier Lament.
How many times did Nib come up?
0. This card was never sided in. This was a paperweight, and it deserves to be so. I was expecting to see a lot more people stubborn to move on to the new format, or not financially able to, stuck on something like
Sword Soul?
like Sword Soul, stuck on something like Punk, or trying to play Punk, and this just eats Punk.
Yeah.
Like, until they make, like, even through a Baron, this could just eat Punk. Because Imperm Rock still goes and does work. That was it for the Monster Hand Traps in the side. Next, I had for the going first package, as I like to call it, or slot A, as we referred to it during the event, was double, triple tactics, triple Appointer, which is
a Pointer Gang.
Pointer Gang, and double Solemn Judgment. This culminated in every post side where, let's say I lose game 1 or I lose game 2 and I get to hold power over the die roll, I just slot in these in place of crossouts and Dark Rulers, and it just, they couldn't play the game against me.
Yeah.
Just draw phase. Whatever out you have in hand is gone. Or activate Dark Ruler. Cool. You were saying? It just stops them from being
it just helps mitigate everything.
It mitigates the board. It lets me keep playing through. And a lot of the times, even when I overextend and burn negates, or burn, like, for example, burn a red to negate that normal summon of something stupid, like an Alba or something like that, when I was playing against Despia, it just made it that it was not a big punish for them to immediately go, Brain Diffusion. It's like, okay, no. It saved my ass a lot for being very much monkey flip dumb when it comes to a lot of situations because of my lack of experience. And then the final card that kind of mattered, kind of didn't, because I only saw it once, was Evenly Matched. In theory, this card was amazing. On paper, it's fantastic. This plus Dark Ruler outs pretty much every board in the game. And then every time I sided it, I never needed it, or every time I sided it, it never came up.
Oh wow! So, what would you want to change in this list for tomorrow?
What would I want to change in this list for tomorrow? I'm very tempted to go back to the Diva package because I like being able to go into the Hulk line of Hulk, summon Ash Blossom, or summon Ogre, Toad effect off of Gigantic, well, summon Toad off of Gigantic.
Yeah, Soft Rock, yeah.
swap frog, bounce, go burr, whatever, however the line goes. From there, if I'm gonna stick to the Dark Beckoning Beast, I might actually go into the Deck Devastation Virus tech, where you have the virus
the Codebreaker?
the Codebreaker Virus Swordsman in the extra, so you can just tribute that off and literally kill the mirror match before they have a chance to get their legs off the ground. If not, I was maybe thinking of, since these were dead sides and these never really came in, to augment the going first package and really just emphasize that you can't play the game. Maybe Sanctum Scythe, because it's the safest means of scything people. If I'm going to play a brick, I'm going to play a brick that doesn't even hurt to draw that badly. Unlike the Live Twin Sunny with the Ultimate Slayer. Because it just eats up space in the main, and when you draw it, you just cry. It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and especially now that many people are not playing a Droplet in the main, you could just easily just go draw phase or standby phase, artifact Sanctum, and just lock them out of playing.
Exactly. There's a lot of decks that just that don't play through that like at all.
Hey, but any shout outs you want to give out?
Oh, for sure. Shout outs to the man behind the camera himself, Mr. Jose, Mr. Fiend himself. We got our boy Kevin over here, who helped whack the stupid out of me a few thousand times in playtesting. To the boys back home in Miami, all the boys in Cool Stuff and Kingslayer, y'all are great. Y'all are the boys. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to make like 7 years of progress in a month from never fucking playing this format to going to topping a 61 team 3-man event, which is some ridiculous like 180 something players.
Yeah,
with just these 3 goons and like a clinically concerning lack of sleep. Outside of that, just gotta say, I just gotta say, hopefully we shred it tomorrow and I get some free dubs.
Hey, thank you, Will, for the deck profile. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks for lying to me about it being good.
Yeah, please like and subscribe, guys. Peace out.